That car came in on a quiet afternoon. No rush, no emergency, just the sound of tires on gravel and an engine that shut off gently like it didn't want to draw attention. The man who drove it didn't look around the shop. He didn't check his phone, didn't ask how long it would take. He just stood there for a moment, breathing slowly, as if arriving was already more than he had planned to do. I've seen that before. That's not someone fixing a car. That's someone who finally stopped running. The car itself wasn't special to most people. A four-door sedan. Clean enough. Taken care of. But there was something about the way he touched the hood when he walked past it. Not checking for heat. Not wiping dust. Just grounding himself. He said the car had been sitting more than it had been driven. Not because it was broken, because he didn't trust himself behind the wheel anymore. That caught my attention. People usually blame the car. They rarely blame themselves. Years ago, that car had been everything to him. His escape, his thinking space. It was morning commutes where he planned his day and late-night drives where he sorted through his thoughts. Long stretches of empty road where thinking felt easier than talking. It was the one place where he made his biggest decisions, where he cooled off after a bad day, where he always felt in control, until the day he didn't. The argument that changed everything happened in that car. Not while driving fast, not during some traumatic chase, just parked. A conversation that started small and went too far. Words piled up, one on top of the other, each one heavier than the last. Voices tightened. And then silence followed. The kind of silence that doesn't calm anything down. It just hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. After that day, he avoided the car. He avoided the road. He avoided long drives because being still, being grounded, suddenly felt safer than facing what he almost lost in that driver's seat. So the car stayed parked. It became a monument to a moment he couldn't move past. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And life just kept moving around him while he stayed perfectly still. When he finally brought it to me, he said he wanted it checked. But as I looked it over, it became clear. The engine was fine. The transmission was solid. The problem wasn't mechanical. It was memory. The car was haunted, not by a ghost, but by a moment. As I worked, he started talking, not all at once, and not dramatically. Just small pieces, like he was trying to put a puzzle together. He told me how driving used to clear his head, how the car felt completely different after that argument, how the silence inside the cabin, once a comfort, became too loud to bear. He wasn't afraid of the road. He was afraid of himself on it, afraid of what might happen if he lost control again, not of the car, but of his emotions. That's when I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you drove without somewhere to be? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at the car, then back at me. Then he shook his head. I don't remember. It had been years since driving was about the journey, not just the destination. While I was checking under the seats, I found something small. A folded receipt. Old. The paper was soft and creased from being opened and closed too many times. On the back, written in his own handwriting, were a few words. Don't forget who you are when things get quiet. He stared at it like he didn't recognize the person who wrote it. It was a message from a past self, a version of him he hoped would one day come back. When the car was ready, I told him the truth. There's nothing wrong with it, I said. But you already knew that. He nodded. He always had. The car wasn't broken. He was. That night, he drove. Not far, not fast. No music. No destination. just the road. At first, every sound made him tense. Every turn of the wheel felt deliberate, heavy. He was fighting the muscle memory of his own fear. But slowly, the grip on the steering wheel loosened. His breathing followed, becoming deeper, steadier. The car didn't demand anything from him. It just stayed steady, a silent partner on the road. At a long, empty stretch of road, something shifted. He realized the car wasn't tied to that argument. It was tied to who he had been before fear took the wheel. And that person, the one who found freedom on the open road, mattered. The car wasn't a prison. It was a time capsule. A few days later, he came back. Not for repairs, just to tell me something. He said he had driven for hours, got lost on purpose, pulled over when he needed to, just to breathe. And for the first time in years, he trusted himself again. The car didn't change. He did. I've learned something over decades of working in this garage. Some cars don't break down. They wait. They wait for their owners to stop avoiding the quiet moments where the real answers live. And sometimes an engine doesn't need fixing at all. It just needs someone ready to sit with it. N.L. Sen. If you believe cars carry more than just people, if you believe some of the most important journeys start after everything has stopped, then this channel is for you. Subscribe. Because every car that comes through this garage has a story, and some of them only start when someone finally slows down. Thanks for watching.